up, y'all? I'm Lafia of Bad Chick Studios, and today I'm going to share 6 Lens Studio assets that can help level up your spectacles development. First off, if you haven't checked out the asset library in Lens Studio, you've kind of been sleeping on it. But to be fair, I did for a long time as well. However, it is packed with a ton of useful assets like audio files, materials, 2D, 3D assets, all of these things that can help speed up your development time. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's do this. Asset number 1, surface placement. This allows your users to find a convenient area around their surroundings to start up your spectacles lens. This is important because it clues the user in that they're going to need enough space to be able to comfortably interact and engage with your spectacles lens. In order to get to the asset library, you can either find this button right here next to Home or click on Window, Asset Library. All right, now that I have surface placement, you'll tend to find everything in the asset browser right over here. And a lot of times you'll find the assets under packages. So here's surface placement. I'm going to click on example surface, and we are going to drag it into the hierarchy. And this is what it gives you. It allows the user, once again, to move this anywhere that's convenient to them, and once they let go, it gets locked in place. And the wonderful thing about this is that it stays locked into the ground, so they can move around and things will stay in place. This also comes with a default reset button, so if you want to offer that to users, it's already built in and functional. So how this works is you'll see under example surface, there's a little parent called visual parents. And everything in your experience that you want to be locked into place, you just nest underneath visual parent. So you'll see in this case, we have the red panda and the reset button. And when you click, there you go. There's the panda and the reset button. Asset number 2 is the Spectacles 3D hand hints. This is a wonderful tool to help onboard your user. Sometimes we forget as devs and creators that there's a lot of people out there who still are unfamiliar with AR and especially unfamiliar with wearable devices like the spectacles. So this asset is perfect because it gives the user a visual indicator of how to interact with different objects in your experience. So let's hop back into Lens Studio and take a look. So this is Spectacles 3D hand hints, and you'll see automatically that it shows you one of the types of animations. It also gives you a little guide telling you what it does, but you can turn that off. And if you click on the Spectacles 3D hand hints and then move over to the inspector, which is up here, you'll see that there is a script called the Interaction Hint Controller, and it gives you a lot of flexibility. It allows you to change the animation speed, the number of loops, but what's really cool is it also gives you a bunch of different types of animations based on which hand, as well as the types of gestures. So you have pinching, swiping, tapping, palm touch, and you'll see that it changes. So we can just go through a couple different ones. Here's one. It has a bunch of different animations for 2 hand as well as single hand. So this is 2 hands pinch. This is 2 hands palm grab. So there are a lot of different options depending on the type of gestures and experiences that you have in your own project. It's really helpful, and it really does a great job of guiding your users so that they have an optimal experience in your lens. Asset number 3 is the Spectacles UI kit. If you need buttons, sliders, toggles, whatever you need for your project, you do not have to start from scratch. Check out the kit, use that as a base. Okay, so here's the Spectacles UI kit. And in the prefabs folder, you'll see something called example interface. And let's drag that into our hierarchy. So here you can see that this has all the different UI that you can use. Buttons, capsule buttons, these little like radio buttons, and a couple different types of toggle, text input, and of course, a slider. If you go to example interface in your hierarchy and open this up, you'll see what lives under the hood. So you kind of keep doing this, and this gives you all of the different ones: check mark, radio buttons, capsule buttons, and you can literally just drag something out that you want. So let's say we're going to go for button 1. I'm going to drag it outside of the example interface. So now you'll see it's here. I grabbed a button, that's all I need. I can get rid of this, and there's my button. Has some nice little animation depending on hover and click. But here's the thing, it's just the button. It doesn't do anything, it has no functionality, but at least gives you that UI element. The next asset we're about to talk about will give you that functionality so that when you actually click a button, it does something. Asset number 4 is the Interactable Helper, and one that I kept swiping by because I didn't know what it did. That was my bad. So I'm flagging it so you do better than me. It's extremely, extremely helpful. It gives you examples and a script to be able to easily have your button do something. The whole point of a button or a toggle or slider is that it triggers something else. So it gives you a bunch of examples on how to do that and lets you easily set it up yourself. Let's take a look. This is another asset that automatically adds the prefab to your hierarchy. And let's take a look at this. Look at this. This is fantastic. Pinch or hover on collider objects to see the interactable reaction. We get hover to show or hide our object. We have pinch to toggle something on and off. Hover to scale something up and down. Pinch to move and rotate. There's so many different options. I highly recommend you play around with it, try different things, and then you can use it yourself. Audio control. This changes the property of a material, changes the color of a material. There's so many different things that you can do with this. It's fantastic. But let's see what is going on underneath the hood. So if we look at this first example, set state, over here, let's look in the inspector. So if we click on it, that's the actual button, and go over here to the inspector, you'll see this script called Interactable Helper. And it has a bunch of different features. It gives you the target object, which in this case is that green box that you see turning on and off on hover. It gives you a different response type. So in this case, it's setting the state, it's disabling or enabling something, but you can toggle, change custom animations, play audio clips, whatever you need to be. You can set a delay to it, and you can have multiple things. This has both hover on enter and exit, and it turns the set state off when you hover off of it, and it turns the set state on, which turns on the green box when you hover onto it. So once you have this installed, you can actually use this same script and use it on a custom button or any UI that you want to set up for yourself. Asset number 5 is access components, and this is another one that I kept passing by. So say you have a sphere in your scene, right? And it's blue, and you want to press a button and have it turn red. Sometimes via scripting, it can be kind of hard to try to pinpoint that exact component that lets you change the material color. So access components gives you a bunch of example scripts that shows you how to find specific components on either a parent or a child scene object. So we'll do a search for access components. Here we go. Install. So this one's really about the scripts themselves, and there's nothing to really see in the preview window right now, but it gives you a lot of different scripting scenarios. So for instance, this is if you want to access a component on a child scene object. So here's the parent, here's the child. Here's another example if you want to access a component on the main scene object. There's just a bunch of different examples. The cool thing about it is it gives you the scripting version for TypeScript as well as JavaScript. So if you are more comfortable with scripting, highly recommend you take a look at these scripting examples to help you with your Spectacles project. Asset number 6, last but not least, marker tracking. This is not exclusive to Spectacles, but it does work well with the specs. Marker tracking is really cool because you can take a real-world image like a painting or a mural or something in a magazine and add these digital elements to it. So you can put the spectacles on, look at a painting on a wall, and have it come to life with animation, 3D characters, audio, you name it. So it's just a really great way to enhance a 2D image. A search for marker tracking helper, and again, automatically add some of the examples, and we're just going to do simple marker tracking. Now this is one that you'll really kind of have to try it out on the Spectacles, but I can show you the behind the scenes. So under simple marker tracking, you have something that's called image tracking. And it's a little image marker that if you right click and we highlight it, we'll see it down here in the asset browser. So you see an image tracker marker that says edit me, And if you go here into the inspector, you'll see that it has the marker texture. This is where you put a digital version of the image that you want to track in real life. And the other thing to make sure of is the marker height, which is the height in centimeters. You want to make sure that it's the correct height that it is in real life so that everything can line up correctly. So once you do that, you go here, and if we look in the scene, you'll see that there's a box. Very simple right now, but what's going to happen is that if we printed this out and we pointed the spectacles to it, this box would show up overlaid on top of the real image of this marker. And so what you want to do is anything that you want to show up on top of, superimposed on this image, you would nest underneath the image tracking. So those are the 6 assets. It's great to see them individually, but I put together a little demo so you can start to see how they all work together in a real world project. We're also going to see what it looks like through the spectacles. So this is the demo project. I'll make it available for y'all to try it out. Really quick and dirty, just to see how these things work together. So this is the surface placement. And again, you see the visual parent, and you'll see that I have everything that I want nested under here. We pull out. That's all of this is nested under there. And it says, welcome to the gallery, and it looks for this image. So zooming in, this is the marker tracking image that people are going to have to find in real life. And so underneath the camera object, I set up the image tracking, and it's tracking this image, which is hard to see, but you'll see it in real life. And I set it up so that when the image gets detected, this fox appears, and as well as a button. And the button I got from the UI kit. It has the Interactable Helper. And so on button press, it will actually call a script from Access Components, which allows me to access this jacket component and change the color. So let's jump into the spectacles and see what it looks like in the real world. So here we go, surface placement. It's locked in place. You can see as I move around, it is locked in. And it says, welcome to the gallery. It tells me to look for this image, and it's on my wall. And once it gets recognized, you'll see I have the fox, a button from the UI kit. You'll see I have the 3D hand hints, and it changes color thanks to the Interactable Helper script as well as the Access Component script. All right, we did it, y'all. Please let me know if you'd love a deeper dive on any of these assets that I already talked about, or if there are other Spectacles assets you'd love me to highlight. In the meantime, talk to you later.